How hard is it to tell your players to slow down in those circumstances?
Well, it's one of the things that's been, a topic of conversation. We just got to be careful out there and work with each other. The last thing we want is somebody to be hurt. And we're fortunate that, Damian, he got a little sore shoulder, and that's about it, thank goodness. But still, there's a certain discipline that I try to get across to the guys, that they understand that when we talk about doing things a specific way, there's a reason why. The reason why is we don't want to see guys get hurt. But that's part of the discipline, and that's part of the things that we still have to learn. Last year I talked to you guys about my concern being the maturity, and I felt I was concerned about it. I don't feel that way about that. I really don't, because I feel something different. I see something different from our guys, and part of it now is being able to control that. I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm. I really appreciate the way they practice hard, and they get competitive every now and then. But we've got to have the discipline to understand. And I asked them, I gave them an example. I said, what if somebody came and pokes you in the eye? And we're driving to kick the game-winning field. Are you going to slug somebody? We can't do things like that. So that was just a little bit of lesson. It was a good opportunity to make sure the players understand.
Hey, Ron, how much the balance, too, with a guy like
Was there something egregious about that hit? Because we've seen people go down in OTAs before, but was there something extra there that really set you off?
No, just the fact that we've got to be smarter than that. I mean, that's the discipline that I'm talking about, understanding. If he'd come up and pulled up at the last second, we'd have known he'd been there. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to see the collision. I mean, and part of it, too, is Jeremy knows better. And I told Jeremy I'm disappointed in him because I know who he is, and he's the right kind of guy. He's the kind of guy you want on your football team. He's the kind of guy you want on the football field because, for the most part, he does smart things.
And I was going to ask you that, too, when you have a guy who, in Jeremy's case, is always trying to make
Yep.
the roster. For him to pull back at any point probably feels like it's something. Does he have that luxury to do that? So what's that balance?
I think he does. I think because of who he is as a young man and who he's been a football player for us, that he has that luxury, and we'd understand that. We would see that for sure.
Switching gears, your impressions of Carson over a couple weeks, what has really jumped out to you?
I really like his command of our offense. When you listen to him in the huddle, you listen to him talk to his teammates about certain aspects of the play. He gets it, and seeing him getting his teammates lined up and communicating is I think, a real positive for us. I know it gives me confidence, but when he's in the huddle calling the plays the way he does, I know his teammates can feel the confidence.
Jack Del Rio's had a number of tweets over the last week about political issues, some stances that this organization's taken opposite stances on. Do you talk to him about that at all?
I'm not going to talk about stuff that I talk with my coaches about, especially stuff that's off the field, not pertaining to football. It's just everybody's entitled to their opinion, though.
Do you worry, though, about that affecting the locker room, considering some of the stances your players have taken?
Not necessarily. And again, if that ever becomes an issue, a situation, then we'll have that discussion. But right now, it's something that I will deal with when it comes up.
And how did you deal with that? Did you consider that coming up in the last couple days, and how would you deal with it?
Well, how I deal with it, I'm not going to share with you guys because it's going to be a private matter.
Just wanted to run down a couple guys that we saw on the side field. Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson. Were those just rest days?
No, Curtis was a rest day out of an abundance of caution. He had a real good day on Monday, worked really hard. Came in the next day, he was a little bit tight. And in talking with, with him and talking with Al Bellamy, we decided, hey, let's just be smart. We've had a really good offseason. He's participated. He's been in the middle of everything. So we backed off, and we thought we'd back off these 2 days. And we're really looking forward to seeing him back out on the field on minicamp on Tuesday.
And Antonio?
Oh, Antonio he got a little twinge in the hamstring, so we shut him down. He came up on Monday in practice, right in the middle of practice. He came over the sideline, and he kind of grabbed the back of his leg, and they went over, checked him, and they came to me and said, so we shut him down too. So we're just trying to be smart and not let little things become big things as far as both those guys are concerned.
And Deron Payne wasn't here today. He hasn't been doing team drills the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Where do things kind of stand with him? And just, do you sense any frustration with this contract situation on his end?
No, I don't. And in talking with Deron and stuff like that, Deron's doing what he feels is better for him right now as far as that situation. So we respect that. For the most part, he's communicated with us about what's going on with him, and he's been great about that. For the most part, he comes in, he does the first half of practice, and then when we do the team drills, he opts out, goes up, does his lift, and we send strength coach up there with him so he can go through the entire process. And then he's in meetings afterwards.
Do you expect Deron and Terry to be here for mandatory minicamp next
I
week?
expect all our players to be here because it is mandatory.
You mentioned maturity as a theme that you had last offseason. Is discipline a theme of this offseason, or is that
No.
today?
I think today, but today was just a point of emphasis, just so guys understand it's those little detail things and being smart about it that really helps us, going forward. And that's the thing we got to be aware of. You don't want to take away the aggressive nature. The last thing you want is you don't want Jeremy Reeves, out on the game thinking about things. And so I try to balance that, and as was asked, there is a fine line. And you don't want to take that aggressive nature, but at the same time, just wants to be smart and be careful and not get anybody hurt.
And I know obviously it's still June, but is there a theme that you see kind of emerging like last year that you'd like your team to focus on most?
No, I said what I said last year mostly because I really did feel it. What I feel is I feel a little something different. I know some of you guys have seen practice. I think some of you guys do agree that there is something positive out here right now. And I think our football team is developing, growing. We've played a lot of young guys the last 2 years, which is a good thing. That means they're experienced, they understand, they get it. They've had a year of success, they had a year of getting their butts kicked. But I think we understand that. And I sense that and I told the guys this too at the last huddle up, that there's a maturity about the core group of guys we have that I like. I'll say that. And we'll see what happens.
Carson and Jahan seem to have formed a nice little connection over the past few weeks. What have you seen from those two and them clicking so far? Well,
first and foremost, I think Jahan has done a really nice job coming in and focusing in on his development and growth as a football player for us, learning his assignments, understanding what we're doing on the offensive schemes. I do think he's developed a very good rapport with our quarterbacks in general. You guys don't get to see it all the time, but when you watch him, it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. The guy has an ability to put himself in position to make plays. So it's been good to watch. It's been a lot of fun, and you do think that there is something that he does have in terms of connections with Carson, with Tyler, with Sam. It's just you see it. And to me, I think that's a good thing. It bodes very well. But I could say the same thing with Diami. You watch Diami catch the deep balls. It's kind of cool to see him throw them and him use that speed and go out and get it.
And Derek Forrest had a nice little tip pass today. What growth have you seen from his rookie year to now?
I've seen a tremendous amount of growth. I really have, and he has done a lot of nice things. That tip pass was kind of emblematic of the way he has come on throughout OTAs and mini camps, and he is also one of the other guys that I've had to speak to about being a little overly anxious. But you don't want to take that away from him because that's why he's making those plays, because he's doing those things, and you see it. You see it especially on special teams. He's stepping up as one of the leaders for that group of guys as well. So there's a lot of positives that are coming out of this.
Carson has talked a lot about maybe maturing more at this stage in his career. And I know this is your first experience around him, but you did a lot of research on him.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him in that regard? And what have you heard from him in that regard? Because that was one of the questions from some of the other stops that you were hearing.
One of the things that's interesting is how hard he is on himself. And you do kind of see it because he does mumble a little bit, talk to himself. And one time I heard him say something, I thought he was saying something to me. But he was just talking out loud to himself. So sometimes when something really good happens, I kind of watch him and see his facial expression. And sometimes when something bad happens, I turn and watch and just kind of see how he reacts to all of that.
And one of the things quarterbacks, teammates want quarterbacks to take ownership of situation and all that. I know you haven't been in that situation in the game where he has to do that, but do you see anything going on there that tells you that that's what he's doing?
Well, I think part of it is, and again, you watch some of the confidence in which he steps into the huddle and calls the plays. And that, I think, is really good because his teammates will feed off of that confidence in the way he handles the huddle situations.
Going back to Curtis, is the soreness in the groin?
No, the soreness is from the work. Okay, he came in, like I said, he had a really big day on Monday. And when he came out, he just said, I feel tight, I feel sore overall generally. And so that was just one of the things. We just said, look, we've had a real good run with him. Let's just be smart and let's see if we can get him back ready to go on Tuesday. And so he's been doing everything he's supposed to.
Take three more.
Logan Thomas still not on the field yet, but the other tight ends have been, getting a lot of work. What have you seen out of that group so far?
It's been kind of cool to see those guys really kind of come together. I mean, they're all young. That's probably the biggest thing. And watching them get opportunities, get a lot of reps is boding really well for us. It's a very diverse group. I think John Bates right now has done a heck of a job, and all those young guys seem to be following his lead. And it's kind of interesting because, I see Logan wants to go over there, but he's got to come over here and work with the trainers and the strength conditioning guys. But it's all a matter of time before we get him back out on the field too.
And you mentioned that AGG, his blocking is going to really be a determination where he kind of fits in there. I mean, have you seen any kind of improvements from him?
Oh yeah. I mean, and again, we're not in pads, but get a chance to watch him work with his coach, his position coaches, and you see it. You see the willingness to try to learn, and that's been really good. But the really cool thing though is you see him jumping in and really giving it a real go, and that I think has really been pleasing.
Is Samus okay?
Who?
Samus?
Samus had a. I'm not sure what to call it, but he had a little something that he's got to take care of physically. He has an old screw from something that he had done way back when that's been irritating. So they were gonna take care of it. So we've had to be careful with him the last few days.
So he'll need knee surgery at some point?
No, I didn't say surgery. Okay, they're going to take care. No, it's the screw. Because he had something that happened a long time ago into one of those whatever, and but it should be something that should be very easily taken care of, and he should be fine. Okay. No, he's not out for the season. No. See. One of the skills you can learn is listening. Okay? Listening, not interpreting. Not interpreting.
I'd like to hear all the skills you think parents should pick up on.
Wow.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
We're
guys.
good. All right. Thank you, guys.
How y'all doing?
Hey, Kendall. Jack had some tweets recently talking about the Black Lives Matter protests in summer 2020. Are you aware of those? And if
I
so, what
am not.
You're not?
I'm not aware of them.
Okay.
Tell us about your off season, what you've been working on. How you feel?
Feeling pretty good. Just excited to be out here. Excited to be with the guys. Just working on just building that continuity. Just spending time with each other. Just little things in the locker room and in the meeting rooms, and then just getting out here. Really just kind of all of us still figuring each other out. Just knowing certain places where we want to be, knowing where your safety's going to be on certain coverages, certain plays, and stuff like that. So just having that familiarity and just knowing where everybody's going to be is just going to help us play better. So it's been fun.
Last year, this was a group with really high expectations, a disappointing start to the season. I know you guys felt like you put it together midway through the year. How do you come in this year, learning from that, building off of that?
Just taking advantage of it every day, just being able to be out here every day with each other. Like I said, just continuing to learn about each other, knowing, if I got Cam to my side, how he might see things this way. He wants to be here. If I have Bobby to my side, he might see things differently. He might want to be here or be there. So just, like I said, just building that continuity and just having that familiarity with each other, all that little stuff adds up, once the season comes.
I want to ask you about two guys that you've had to face on offense, Carson and then Jahan. What have been your impressions first of Carson?
Just how smart he is. Just little things. He's always coming, asking questions. Why'd you play it like this? How'd you see it? Everybody knows his arm talent and things like that. So, just the little things. You don't being able to get that from a guy that's proven a vet. Where he's coming up, asking defensive guys, like not just talking to the offensive guys, but talking to defensive guys, still trying to learn and get better. That's what everybody's trying to do, no matter how long you've been in this league. There's always going to be improvement, always things to get better at, and always more knowledge to gain. And then Jahan, I think he has a sense of comfort that he comes out here with, a sense of comfort, confidence. His talent went first round for a reason, but definitely just how comfortable and confident he's been coming out here.
Can you tell he's for a young guy, he seems to have a pretty good plan when he's running his routes. Can you tell that? Is there a little bit different savviness to what he does even?
Yeah. I think I told Coach Harris today, he had ran a route yesterday and then came off and kind of sold the same route and added some little flavor at the top. But, just to have that mindset, like, okay, I went against Kendall, I ran this route, let me make it look the same way but have a counter off of it for the same thing. So, that's something that, the good wide receivers have, and they always know things like that.
I want to go back to politics because I know it's your favorite thing. When the George Floyd thing happened, you guys canceled practice. You had group discussions about it. Do you feel like those have continued over these past couple of years? Is that something you guys are still actively engaged on? How's that evolved?
I think it's definitely something that guys still have. You know, it might not be as broad as, you know, how that was when everything happened, but, you know, something that you still see, conversations that guys still have. And, you know, just like everything in the locker room. I love NFL locker rooms because, like, everybody's so comfortable. We all know each other. We're all comfortable with each other. You know, everybody's open to listening, hearing everybody. And, you know, everybody's kind of just putting their opinion, their pride aside and just listening to everyone's opinions. You know, I think that's how we grow. You know, everybody being able to express how they feel about things, being able to get other people to see how they see it and things like that. So that's definitely conversations that still come up. It's talk about everything in the NFL locker room, so it's definitely fun.
Jack Del Rio recently tweeted kind of a comparison to the George Floyd protests and the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th. How do you feel, what are your feelings towards that, comparing those two?
Like I said, I don't know what he tweeted. You know, if there's any feeling that I have towards it, you know, I'll definitely go express it with him and stuff like that. But I'm not aware of anything that's on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm just going to read it to you because I'm interested in your reaction. Would love to understand the whole story about why the summer of riots, looting, burning, and the destruction of personal property is never discussed, but this is, they're referring to January 6th, #common sense. What's your reaction?
I don't have a reaction right now. Like I said, if I have a reaction, feeling towards something, I'll express that with him.
Thanks.
Anything else?
Hey, Kendall. Scary collision today between Jeremy Reeves and De'Ami Brown. You were one of the first guys there. What did you see, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think Reeves was trying to make a play on the ball, and, you know, I think just, you know, us learning, us getting out there, you know, just knowing when to pull up, when to pull off. But, you know, a guy just trying to make a football play, but just us understanding that, you know, we don't have pads on yet. You know, I think Coach Rivera's first thing he said, like, man, we have pads on. It's a whole different discussion. And we all know that Reeves didn't have any ill will towards it. You know, you could see him going in with his hand, trying to get his hand on the ball. And sometimes that happens in football. And, you know, just where we're at now with OTAs, you know, we're just trying to avoid those collisions. So, you know.
After the collision happened, Rivera pulled everybody in for a discussion, and then there was a player who talked to everybody after that. Was that you, or was that someone else who talked to
No, I think it was a group of us. All of us just kind of just said, hey, let's come in. And I can't remember who exactly it was, but, you know, everybody just kind of expressing like, hey, like, we want to work hard. Everybody wants to make plays, but let's take care of each other.
Last one.
Changing gears, out of all the guys in the secondary, young guys, new guys, veterans, who's impressed you the most thus far in OTAs?
I don't know. I don't have one that I can think of at the top of my head right now. You know, just I would definitely say just a lot of those guys that's, you know, we got some guys that's going corner nickel, some guys that's going safety to the nickel. So, you know, guys being able to have that flexibility, being able to be comfortable enough, have the knowledge, be able to take it to go in and out or go to safety, come in there, go to nickel. You know, that's never easy to do. So we got vets doing it, younger guys doing it. So it's definitely good to see everybody kind of learning. I think it'll help us out as a defense. You know, when you learn and you know where every position is doing, where they're supposed to be at, you know, it helps you whenever you're on the field.
All right. Thanks, Ken.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning. All right, well, we'll get the fun stuff out of the way first. You obviously have a presence on Twitter, and you put out a couple things the last couple days that you drew some attention. I'm curious from your perspective, just like how do you balance, you want to have your voice, you want to have saying things, versus how could it play out here?
Anything that I ever say or write, I'd be comfortable saying or writing in front of everybody that I work with, players and coaches. So I express myself as an American. We have that ability. I love this country. And, you know, I believe what I believe, and I've said what I want to say. And every now and then there's some people that get offended by it. It's a slow news cycle, so I guess Mike Florio picked something up yesterday and talked about it. It's not the first time Mike and I have disagreed about things. That's okay. You know, but that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to it. But what I am excited about is what's going on right now with us and the way we're working. You know, so football questions be where I'd like to focus. If anybody else wants to talk about other things, we can set something out at another time. But that's kind of how I see it.
It seems like you like to express yourself in the offseason. It's been a couple years in a row. Is that, like, what is it about this time that you want to speak up on certain issues?
No particular, time or thing about off season or in season. So.
And you obviously took, I think, a stance that was counter to some players and how they felt in summer 2020. Are you worried at all about how your players would?
Not at all.
Okay.
Do you think your stances reflect a lot of people that aren't putting those out there out of fear or anything else?
Some people may be swayed by that, but again, I'm going to be the man I am, and I operate here as a coach with nothing but love and respect for everybody I work with.
Coach, there are a lot of African Americans on your team. I know you said you're not really worried at all.
Yeah.
But do you think it has any effect on them knowing their beliefs and where maybe the communities they come from when it comes down to police brutality, knowing that you kind of compared those George Floyd protests with January 6th?
No. No, I don't think race had anything to do with that incident. And so, no.
Well, not race, but in regards to just the race that believes and supports the Black Lives Matter movement. Are you concerned that some of those players are a little bit concerned about what your personal opinion?
No, I'm not.
When you said that incident, what did you?
I'm sorry?
When you said that incident just now, what did you?
I think we know what we're talking about here. I mean, I don't. There's really nothing else to add right now, guys. Anything else?
I'll go defense. Last year felt like you guys got off to a slower start than you wanted. As you go back and look at it, what kinds of things do you feel more prepared for this year or better able to do?
Well, we hope to be better, right? Clearly it starts with a commitment to being here and working and being able to get on the same page, make sure the communication is good. I think that kind of gives you a great start, a great foundation. So, right now we're getting a lot of great work in. There are guys that are developing. I would single out, Benjamin St. Juste is really having a terrific offseason and excited about what he's doing in there. He's getting a lot of reps at nickel. He's played well there, and so I think that's a real positive for us. So it's development. This time of year you can develop and gain a great understanding of how we all fit together. And defensively, that's what it's all about, kind of knowing where you need to go and everybody being accountable and getting there and playing with some attitude.
I'll ask you about Chase. A lot of people are curious about him. I know you haven't seen him on the field.
Yep.
What are your discussions been like about what you want from him here in year 3?
Well, mainly get healthy, work hard. He's doing that. He's putting in the work and get himself back. And then right now for him, it's important to kind of some of the things we're talking about, understand exactly the things we're asking him to do, have a great feel for, where he can make his plays and where he can be a difference maker for us. Obviously, he's a great leader, so you have to be here to lead. And so I'm love seeing him here. It's voluntary, doesn't have to be here right now. So I love seeing him here, and I think it's good for us as a team.
You could just, since we're not here every day, he has been around?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there was a couple times where he was off and doing the rehab that he needed to do, but he's been with us, recently, and it's good having his impact around.
What is the progression that Benjamin has made that even, again, I know there's a long way to go to get the season, but what's the progression he's made so far that makes you feel good about what he's shown inside?
Just the work he's putting in, the attention to detail, the understanding, picking up a new position. We played him outside primarily last year. He's been able to move inside, and we're just looking to get our best people on the field, give them all a chance to compete. I think when you look at the body of work that he's had this offseason has been very productive for us, and very productive for him.
Does his size inside give you a different look? Because a lot of times the corners you're going to get a smaller guy outside. Does he give you a different look?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. No, his length, he's got incredible quickness. So you worry about longer guys that typically don't have short area quickness. He's got amazing short area quickness and body control. So with a bigger, longer guy inside, it definitely allows him to be disruptive, allows us to play at a high level. So he's been really impressive inside.
There wasn't a lot of moves made on the defensive side in free agency. Does that speak to a certain confidence you have in the group from last year, bouncing back or taking steps together?
Well, I think we feel like if we get healthy and then we've added a couple pieces. Big Phil, inside has been really good, and then guys developing. Guys like Jamin, guys like Benjamin. They need to develop and play better, and they will, and we're seeing that. So, and then you add in a couple draft picks. I said Big Phil, and you got Percy, Christian late. So we've got a couple guys there that come in and add some to our depth, and then we'll see what they earn. But we like the core that we have. We think we have a good core when we're healthy, and so staying healthy obviously is key for everybody. The Rams are a different team if Aaron Donald gets hurt, right? I mean, it's good player. You need your good players healthy and at the gate, and so. But having them here and us working together and developing like we are right now, I think, is very encouraging.
Jack, turnovers are always emphasized, obviously. Is it any more of an emphasis this year, considering some of the struggles you guys had on third down, pass defense, and all that?
No. It's, to me, there are certain things that are always important. Playing well on third down, playing well in the red zone, and turnovers. Those are probably the biggest keys to playing good defense.
Are you happy so far with?
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it. I mean, obviously, going against your own offense, I think one thing that we can all see, our offense is going to be better. We've greatly improved the quarterback room. Carson has been tremendous, and adding a draft pick there as well, and Taylor coming back. I think we've got a really strong quarterback room. I think it starts there. Jahan has been outstanding. I mean, I'm talking about the other side of the ball, but we're excited about what we're seeing as a team from each other, and so that's all positive for us. It's going to make us work harder in camp and this time of year, and that should pay dividends for our football team when we open up in the fall.
Take two more.
You guys deployed a lot of 3 safety looks last year with Landon not being here. Does St. Juice allow you guys to kind of maybe go away from the 3 safety looks and play more traditional nickel stuff, or would you still like to deploy?
Yeah, we'll have our packages ready. We're going to utilize our personnel the best we can. Obviously, we've got a young safety that we drafted in Percy. We've got a young safety that we had last year in Defo, and so those guys are going to get time there. Getting Bobby back and having Cam, there. Obviously, we've got some safeties we like, and we'll deploy them as we feel we can and want to. But having Benjamin playing well at the nickel is big for us.
Just to follow up quickly.
Yeah.
Like Percy Butler and Derek Forrest, both Buffalo nickel options, or?
I'm sorry?
Are they both options for the Buffalo nickel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Buffalo nickel maybe takes on a life of its own. I don't know that it needs to. I think that was more Landon really didn't want to ever be considered anything but a true safety, and he played the nickel. It's kind of like a linebacker, but it's okay. I get it, but no, we're going to do the best we can with the guys we have, and make sure that we have the ability to match what offenses want to do and help take that away.
Sam, last one.
Jack, sorry, one more back on Twitter.
Are you back on Twitter? Just stay off that thing, will you?
Just for clarification, why is it not important to you, like if your players are concerned by what you'd said?
Oh, if they are and they want to talk about it, I'd talk about it with anybody. Yeah, no problem, at any time. But they're not. I'm just expressing myself. And I think we all as Americans have the right to express ourselves, especially if you're being respectful. I'm being respectful. I just asked a simple question. Really, let's get right down to it. What did I ask? A simple question. Why are we not looking into those things if we're going to talk about it? Why are we not looking into those things? Because it's kind of hard for me to say I can realistically look at it. I see the images on TV. People's livelihoods are being destroyed. Businesses are being burned down. No problem. And then we have a dust-up at the Capitol. Well, there's nothing burned down. And we're not going to talk about, we're going to make that a major deal. I just think it's kind of two standards. And if we apply the same standard, and we're going to be reasonable with each other, let's have a discussion. That's all it was. Let's have a discussion. We're Americans. Let's talk it through. I'm for us, having a great opportunity to have a fulfilled life. Like I said, every which way I can. When I'm here, it's about love and respect. I love my guys. I respect my guys. But I also love the fact that I'm an American, and that means I'm free to express myself, and I'm not afraid to do that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
It's right here?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
How's it going?
Good. How about you guys?
How's your off season?
It was really good. I was here for most of the off season, just working out with the trained staff and all those guys, and really good off season.
To go from, and obviously Logan will be back, but while he's got to go from, rookie trying to make the team to all right, first team reps, let's go. What's that been like?
It's been a really good experience for me so far, being able to be in that position, and I've been learning a lot too, just from the more experience and the more exposure, going with those guys and stuff. So it's been really good so far, and I've been having a blast with it.
Anything you can tell us about Carson, you've learned about him, that you're excited about seeing him?
Yeah, big, tall, athletic quarterback. A guy can really throw the ball, super smart, knows what he's doing. So I'm really excited to see what we can do with him.
What have you seen from Cole Turner thus far?
Cole Turner, he's been doing great so far. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders and is really figuring out the offense here pretty fast. And, has been doing really well in both the run and the pass game. So excited to see what he does too.
And for you this offseason, is there one specific thing you really want to hone in on and improve going into year two?
Route running was a big thing. I know that's something our coach has done a really good job, I think, so far up to this point, is making that a focus, during practice and all those steps. But I think just learning more about the game itself, understanding what the defense is doing, understanding what you're trying to do as an offense and how it affects the defense and everything. So it's been really fun for me, kind of, taking that next step forward and, the football IQ game.
And you've got to see Antonio Gandy-Golden switch from receiver to tight end. How do you think that's going for him thus far?
I think he's been doing good job so far. He's got that wide receiver experience, which is great. He's been doing good.
We miss seeing Pete Hainer out here every day. Do you miss Pete Hainer being out here yelling every day?
I do miss having Pete around for sure, but Coach Castillo's been great. I think everyone in the room really respects him as a coach and, his coaching experience over the past, 25 years. And so, while we miss Pete a lot, we also have a great coach and Coach Castillo as well.
What's his style?
He's going to hold you to a high standard like Pete did. He expects a lot out of us, and he's going to push us. But he also has that respect for us as athletes and players as well. And so it's really cool to have that close of a relationship with him after, him only being here a few months.
Nice. With Carson, what's it been like away in the huddle, away from the field? How's that relationship going?
It's been good. I've had a chance to, sit down with him a couple times and talk with him and stuff. And, he's a really smart player, like I said earlier. And so, a lot of it is just picking his brain, seeing what he's seeing, and then telling him what I see and, just kind of going from there. But it's been really good so far.
Of course, AGG isn't just catching passes. Now he also has to block as part of being a tight end. How do you think he's coming along with that?
I think he's coming along really well with it. Obviously, it's a really hard thing to, make that transition. But, he's an athlete. He's a fast learner. He's got the size and the strength for it. It's just, putting all the technique and everything together. But I think he's doing a good job with it.
If there was something you had to, say, one critical piece of, being a blocking tight end, what do you think that would be?
Technique. Technique is huge, and I think it's a really overlooked thing when it comes to blocking. If you don't have correct technique, you're going to get beat on a majority of the plays. And so when it comes down to it, having the proper technique and, targets and angles is everything when it comes to blocking.
Has he been asking you any kind of tips or anything for the position, just blocking or catching overall, anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the cool thing about our group is that, we have to do so many different things that, we can pick off each other's brain and ask them what they see or ask them what, they think about a certain thing. And we also have the ability to go up to offensive linemen and get their perspective on, blocking. And then we also have the ability to go up to wide receivers and talk to them about, certain receiving and route running stuff. And so I think that's a really cool part about our position is that we have a lot of different resources, whether it's, coaches or players.
I want to ask you a tough question. It's come to our attention Sam Howell only eats chicken. I don't know if you know about this yet.
I think I heard about it.
Have you guys investigated this? What's going on there?
I haven't personally. I'm not sure about the whole thing. But I mean, it is what it is. If that's the way he rolls, that's the way he rolls. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Tell us about the OTAs, what you guys are accomplishing so far.
Right now, just with me, just installing the playbook. Just doing everything I can to just learn it to where I can get comfortable with it every day. Just finding something to mess up on and get better with. Every day as far as the playbook. The biggest thing with the rookies right now is just getting comfortable. With the guys we playing around. Seeing how guys compete. With also trying to get a good feel for the playbook right now.
You got your 4. How'd you end up picking your number?
Well, obviously the 4 wasn't available when it was time to get numbers. And, I wore number 8 one time when I was in Little League ball for about 4 years straight. So, that's a number that's a little comfortable with me. So I didn't have a problem with grabbing number 8.
Doubled it up.
Yeah.
You gonna get a new chain?
I don't know. I might. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into that 4. So, I don't have a problem with wearing it.
You're not going to let it out to Taylor?
Nah.
Has he said anything about it?
Me and Taylor, I told him I was going to let him wear it for media day next week. So.
He wore a black eye last year. You can ask him about it. So.
I didn't know about that.
What's it been like working with the room, Antonio and Jarrett? Obviously some veteran guys.
Oh well, it's obviously been good for me with those guys. Having the experience they have. JD going into like year 6. And Antonio going into year 3. Being a starter for 2 years, and just being in the room with them. They've been helping me. Just pick up on the plays and just everything I need to do to just get comfortable. I feel like they've been very helpful for me during this OTA process. And I appreciate them for the help.
What are your impressions so far of Carson Wentz?
Carson, he's been great for us. He's looking better than ever. He's getting the ball out of his hands fast. Making some great passes. He was always a guy. I had to watch on TV. I ain't never had a chance to play against him or play beside him. So, just to have the opportunity to see him up close in person and as one of my teammates. I'm excited for what he could do for this team.
And then Jahan seems to be a guy who's a little bit older than his years. Like, what are your thoughts on him? I mean, does he just seem to be a little bit more mature than a lot of guys?
Well, Jahan is very mature, and he's shown that since he came in, just by how he's handled his business on and off the practice field, in the meeting rooms, just, locking in the meetings, getting all the details and stuff he need to get down in the meetings so he can come out to the practice field and practice fast and, be efficient on the practice field. So I feel like, Jahan, he's been doing all the things he needed to do since he's came in.
After his Alabama practices, it's a little funny to have the whistle blown like somebody hit somebody else.
Yeah, well, it's the same deal if you ask me. Alabama is what it is. You'll just have to kind of know what goes on in that building to know like how we do things there.
You had to wait your turn at Alabama and for years, but do you feel like there's more of an opportunity here right away for you to contribute, even with Antonio and JD?
Well, yeah, it's a different situation, than I had walked in when I first got to Alabama. Obviously, when I got to Alabama, I was a freshman, 17 years old, with a lot of experienced guys in the room with me, and just this is a different situation now that I've had the college experience and made it to this level now. It's a lot more that I've picked up on at this point in my career at the NFL level than I was in college. So, I feel like that will help me, get a better opportunity the more I can pick up on things and understand the way we do things here.
Hey, Brian, it's a crowded running back room. There's been talk about running back by committee. Have the coaches given you any indication about what your usage might be?
No, they just, we show up every day and we just practice along the script. I don't really know how they plan to use me yet. I'm just focused on doing everything I need to do so that I can, be ready for the opportunity when it comes.
And speaking of Alabama, have any Alabama guys, both on the Commanders or elsewhere in the league, or even Coach Saban, helped you with your transition at all?
Well, I can give a credit to a lot of guys. I have a lot of guys that I play with at Alabama that's in the NFL now, and I just had, plenty of opportunities to, ask those guys questions and pick their brains based on, their, NFL experience or what they think, what type of transition we have to make from Alabama to the NFL. And I feel like, they've been helping me, just kind of the mindset of what I need to bring from Alabama to the NFL.
Who specifically did you talk to?
I talk to Jalen Waddle a lot. I talk to Najee and Devontae and Tua. I talk to pretty much all the guys that was in my class with me. We probably closer than all the other guys, but anybody that I've been on a team with since I was at Alabama, we still kind of have steady relationships.
When we talked to you during rookie minicamp, you said catching the ball is something you really wanted to show. Through 3 weeks of OTAs, you think you've been able to show that a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like I've been able to show that I can catch the ball naturally. I also can continue to prove that I can catch the ball. It's still some inconsistencies in there. I've dropped a few passes over OTAs, but I feel like I can catch the ball consistently and natural, and that's something I just want to continue to prove.
And then one more question about Ford. Did you ask Taylor at all if you could get it, or you just kind of assumed?
No, I was joking around with him. Just not no big deal. I'm cool with number 8. I'm fine with it. Since they gave me the number, I accepted it. Ever since I put it on my back, I accepted it for it. That's mine now. So I joked with him like one time. I was like, T4, let me get that number. And he's just joking around, but it's no big deal really.
Single digits.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, is it one thing that you're more comfortable with right now at this stage of OTAs than what you were before?
Definitely. But, at the start of OTAs, it was, coming out, just finally getting the full team out here, just kind of developing the relationships and stuff now. So now at this point, I feel like I've gotten more comfortable with guys on the team, more guys in the locker room, more comfortable with the plays and the playbook. So, practice, as a whole is more comfortable for me, just coming out on the field and knowing guys' faces, knowing guys' names, and also knowing my assignments when the play is called too. So I feel a lot better now in OTAs than I did at the beginning.
All right,
Thank you.
Hey, Carson. I know he's not your side of the ball, but Jack Del Rio's made some headlines today about talking about comparing the January 6th protests to Black Lives Matter protests and summer 2020. I wonder if you've seen those tweets or if you have any thoughts about that.
I literally just heard about that about 5 minutes before walking in here, so I've not had time to read, study it or figure out what the heck he's talking about. So I'm not going to really comment on it right now. I'll go kind of learn about it a little bit more. Obviously, I work with him, so I can get a chance to talk with him and see where his heart's at on all of that. But I'm not going to go in depth on it because I just learned about it.
What's it been like being out here and getting used to the offense? Where do you feel like you guys are at?
It's been a lot of fun, honestly. For me, especially this time of year, I kind of reflect on the last 2 years and with COVID and everything, haven't had a true off-season, haven't had an OTA, so it seems like it's been a while. And so for me, that's been a lot of fun, first and foremost, to be able to be around the guys in the locker room, outside the locker room, go to dinners, go golfing, do all those things, get to know these guys, but also on the field to get the work in. It's been a lot of fun getting to know them. I have a lot of expectations for this offense and just seeing, little flashes of what I think we can be. Obviously, it's not perfect. That's why it's OTAs. That's why we're out here kind of throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks and who we're going to be as an offense. But it's been a lot of fun, and I have a lot of high hopes for this team.
Hey, Carson, it's early. We're only a few weeks in, but has anybody emerged as one of your favorite targets thus far?
It's hard to say, all of those things. I think we have a unique group. Both, the way we use our running backs out of the backfield, those guys bring a different dynamic. Tight ends as well. Receivers, we got a lot of speed, a lot of weapons. It's been fun getting even the young guys involved. The guys we drafted, Jahan, Cole, Brian Robinson, getting all those guys in the mix kind of halfway through this offseason. It's been a lot of fun to just see different personalities and really we'll start to see that in training camp once the pads go on. They can get press man-to-man coverage, all those fun things. So everybody looks really good right now, and the pads will come on, and that'll really kind of start to separate guys. And I think we got a good bunch of the skill set guys.
Obviously, Terry's not here. I'm not sure if you've spoken to him or not, but what do you think his arrival eventually will bring to the offense, and are you excited to unlock maybe a new level of offense with him?
For sure. I've spoken with Terry quite a bit. Been around him a couple times already, so excited for when we do get back out on that field together. And everybody knows what he brings to the table. I've now been watching film and seeing different things and seeing him just continue to make play after play, and the dynamic he brings will just elevate us. There's no doubt about it. So. He's an extremely talented guy and a great person, I've already learned, and a hardworking guy. So I know he'll be ready to go when that time is.
Carson, Jahan, you've thrown to him a lot 3 days we've been here, it seems like you guys have formed a nice little connection. What are your first impressions of him?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a quiet kid, young kid, but he's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. He's smart. He's instinctual. He catches the football as natural as anybody I've been around. Just how naturally he plucks it out of the air. So I got a lot of high expectations for him, and just as a rookie to just continue to keep growing, learning, and understanding the bigger picture of this game. And I think he's doing a really good job of where he's at right now. And like you said, definitely the last couple of weeks kind of started to develop a little chemistry, and hopefully we can keep building on that come next week and then in the training camp.
And then earlier today, Ron said that he feels like you have a good command of the offense thus far. How would you say, like, picking up the playbook and everything's been?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a challenge. Don't get me wrong. Learning a new system, it's a new language, all those things. But at the same time, it's still football. You're not reinventing the wheel. There's nothing crazy. There's different intricacies within an offense and different schemes and different ways you want to attack the defense. And that's been exciting to see Coach Turner's philosophy and get to work with him. But at the same time, it's always a challenge learning all those things. But that's why we have this time, and I'm thankful for it that we can, get the time to study, but also, have the walkthroughs, have the practices, kind of make those mistakes and learn from them right now.
Carson, you've obviously been through a few things the last couple of years. I'm just curious, how do you feel different? What do you I think you mentioned in a recent interview about feeling more mature or something like that. Like, how do you feel that way?
Yeah.
What's contributed to that?
I mean, I'm older. My family life is different. I got 2 kids. Everything's changed. Everything. You mature a little bit. You see the world a little bit differently. I've now, this is my 3rd team, all those things. So you kind of see a different perspective, and so it's been fun. At the same time, an older guy in the locker room, coming in and getting to know guys, and there's guys that were born in the 2000s all of a sudden making me feel old, and so all those things, just getting to know guys in a different way, guys that are from different backgrounds, different seasons of life, all of those things, and hopefully as a leader and a veteran in that locker room, I can help kind of lead them and bring them along, and I'm excited for it, and it's been a lot of fun.
By the way, guys born in the early 90s made me feel old. So, but with that, like, what are some things that maybe you learned from Indianapolis, from Philly, that you can say, okay, I need to get better here. I need to do better with this, whether it's with teammates, whether it's on the field, what?
Yeah, I mean, you're always trying to learn, always trying to be a better teammate, a better friend, trying to be a better husband every day, a better father every day. And I'm always trying to learn and grow and be reflective and say, okay, I missed that opportunity. I missed that opportunity to kind of make an impact on a younger guy or be involved with that teammate or whatever that looks like. So I'm always trying to learn and just build as good of relationships as I can with everybody, both sides of the ball, coaches, equipment, staff, training staff. I'm going to make mistakes. I'll be the first to admit it. And so always trying to grow and be self-reflective and be a better person in every way, shape, and form.
Hey, Carson. I know you said you don't pay attention to outside opinions and that sort of thing. But Troy Aikman said that he views this as kind of your last chance to prove that you're a capable franchise quarterback in this league. And I'm wondering, just how do you view that opinion, or just see, like, do you agree with it basically? Like, do you see Washington as your last chance to?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that was said. Quite frankly, I'm fine with it. Everyone's got their own opinion, and I'm just excited to be playing this game, have this opportunity. I think we have the ability to do something special here, and then we have a really good skill set offensively to be dynamic. And it takes one day at a time, obviously. But for me, I don't try to put too much pressure on myself. I always have high expectations for myself and for the offense, but I don't try and play those types of games. I don't have enough mental space to kind of process all that. It can wear on you. So for me, I just show up to try and be the best I can be, go home and be the best I can be as a father and as a husband, come back and do it again.
And I'm wondering, how does this offense differ, or what's kind of complicated about learning this system past some of the other stops you've been in?
Yeah, it's probably not a ton different. I'd say just the terminology is different. There's probably a fair amount of terminology that carried over from Philly to Indy that here it's completely new. As far as that, definitely, the running backs are big involved in the passing game, probably more than I've seen in my past, and that speaks towards who we have in the backfield and what they bring to the table. So yeah, I think the way, especially this time of year, you're trying new stuff, new play actions, new protections, new different things, new schemes, new ways to stretch the ball down the field. So it'll be interesting to see how we take this offseason and what we were able to kind of just throw out there and see kind of what we focus in on come season time. And but yeah, it's been fun. You know, I do love the learning and the intricacies of how you can take the same play in all three teams I've been on. Maybe you're reading it a little bit differently, or there's a little nuance to the play. And I love that part of the game and just trying to bring a bunch of minds together and be as good as you can be.
Is there anything different about the way you are going about like progression? Is there anything?
Nothing crazy. Just some new schemes, like I was saying, some new schemes, some new nuances to it. Some of them, yes, maybe you're reading it a little bit differently and all of those things, but nothing crazy. But hats off to Coach Turner and just getting us quarterbacks ready and helping us understand the why behind what we're doing and how we're trying to attack the defense.
These last few weeks, we've been asking your coaches and teammates about you, and when they describe you, they all kind of say the same thing. We've heard brilliant, smart, wicked intelligent, and then we've also heard he has an extremely high IQ. Off the charts, I think is what Sam Cosme told me. So have you ever had an IQ test? What is it? And are you shocked when you hear that this is the description?
I think I got them all fooled is what I think. I must be putting off this persona of something. I think it just comes down to, for me, going into my 7th year, I've accumulated a lot of football and knowledge of this game. I by no means think I'm brilliant or anything. I'm just trying to learn as quick as I can and put that into action out on the field. So I do think maybe I have them fooled a little bit. I'm trying to learn it just like they are. But it's been fun, getting around them and trying to lead the guys in a way, make sure everybody's lined up and everybody's doing the right thing. But we have a really smart offense, and guys are doing a really good job picking up everything.
And I see you're all smiles up here. When we talk to your teammates, it's been the same thing. They've all said, we're having a lot of fun. How much fun is it for you to be a part of this team?
It is a lot of fun, honestly. And kind of like I said earlier, just even this time of year has always been one of my favorites just because you don't have all this stress and pressure of the season and everything, but you still get to be around the guys as much as you can. And so you're building and getting, building that chemistry. You can start to see building something special in little moments at a time and getting around the guys. And that's something I think I've missed about the last 2 years with COVID and everything, being around the guys, building that chemistry, both on and off the field. And so I'm having a lot of fun doing it right now.
I want to get to the important stuff. I understand Sam Howell only eats chicken. Have you heard this? And what have you guys investigated this at all?
That's actually news to me.
Okay.
He probably didn't want to admit that in the quarterback room, so I will be having a word with him tonight on that. Yeah, that's an issue. We'll have to get that corrected.
We were talking to Scott the other day. This is an offense that's needed more big plays over the past few years. You're a guy who can provide that, obviously. How do you come to the line approaching the need to generate that, the understanding of how important that is, but also how that can go wrong as well?
Yeah, I mean, for one, it starts with the play call. Every play call has a different emphasis and what we're trying to accomplish on that play. Even when we call a shot play, if it's not there, don't force it. Be smart. And that's something, I'm always trying to learn and kind of find that fine line of, okay, when to be aggressive, when to check it down. And so that's always something you're trying to learn. But again, it starts with the play call and understanding taking it from the film room to the meeting room to the walkthroughs to practice to the game, just what we're trying to accomplish within each play. We're going to run the ball, we're going to throw quick passes, we're going to throw screens. You're not always trying to hit the home run. Hopefully those small ones go for home runs, but you're trying to just ultimately win the game. And there's a little chess match in there over and over and over throughout the game, and that's part of playing this position and understanding when's the right time to strike. And again, that starts with the play calls, and I think Coach Turner's got a really good grasp on that.
Take 3 more.
Update per sources, Sam Howell also eats pork. My question, though, is you've been described as a big arm, big passer, like to go downfield, verticality. A lot has come out of Indy, but one of the things that came out of Indy was said at times maybe reluctant to go to the check down. How do you describe yourself as a passer?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say all those things can be true at times. There's plenty of times you get locked in on somebody and you're like, shoot, I missed that one or I forced that one. And that's why I think, throughout your career, you're always trying to learn. I'm always trying to learn. And even kind of laughing earlier about just the younger me. I was trying to run for more first downs than I probably would like to now, and you just learn, you grow up, you see the game a little bit differently. You understand, okay, that's, in your third step of your drop, hey, those routes are going to be covered. Just find the check down, move on, and all those things. And so I'd say I love throwing it down the field. I love being aggressive. I'm going to always be aggressive, but there's always a fine line that I'm always trying to learn and navigate and just ultimately help get our team in the end zone.
And forgive me if I'm wrong on this. I don't think we've talked to you since the actual schedule came out. The trip to Philly is a Monday nighter.
Yep.
Gives a little more juice. Did you notice that when you saw the schedule?
Oh, naturally. I kind of expected that. So I think that'll be a fun one. But that's week 10, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll get there.
Last one.
This franchise is pretty desperate for a solidified long-term quarterback. Have you gotten the sense of that? And just do you feel that extra sort of desire for this position to be locked down?
I wouldn't say I feel that in the building by any means or at practice or anything. You'll hear things from fans when you're out in public and those sorts of things. Listen, I'd like nothing more than to play here for a long time and have a lot of success, but I'm going to take one day at a time, and not put that extra added pressure on myself like we were talking about earlier, and just enjoy it and make the most of it.
Sam, last one.
To JP's point about going deep earlier, the numbers suggest that last year you had one of the best years of your career in terms of throwing deep. Did it feel like that? And if so, why?
I guess it did feel like that maybe to some extent. Last year was last year, completely different offense, not everything. Obviously, we had Jonathan Taylor, who was as dynamic of a running back as there is. And so anytime you have a guy like that, the ability to stretch it down the field, it definitely opens up some things. So I'd say that's probably a big part of it.